Good afternoon, everyone. Where to even begin with that World Cup? 6 weeks which shattered records with such abandon, and then used those shards to score a deep, transformative line in the sand. A World Cup which started at a football ground for one magical night, transformed into a rugby temple, and ended with Zoe Stratford sobbing her heart out at the home of the English game. It was magnificent, but the best part is what is yet to come, as its ripples and waves saturate this next chapter. Don't let the glitter, don't let the face paint or all the pink fool you. We're not easing in today. There is no dipping of toes or practice goes as the PWR fires up for this new season. No, we're going off with a bang, with domestic rugby's all-time titans. A rematch of March's final between the sides who've claimed 6 of the last 7 crowns, and a fascinating clash between the league's longest-serving head coach and one of its freshest. You look at Dan Murphy's first Gloucester Hartpury selection, and the only real change around here is that Zoe Aldcroft, in at blindside, has decided to be known by her married name this season. It's a team we've seen before, but that doesn't make it any less threatening. This is an all-international 15, 7 of whom were winning that World Cup last month. Maud Muir was player of the final when these sides last met. Beckett and Matthews are destructive through traffic, and that playmaking spine of Hunt, George and Singh is lethal. Alex Osterbury has had a bit of a balance to strike between parachuting stars back in and rewarding the rich form which saw Sarries crowned Cup champions a fortnight ago. The likes of Poppy Cleal, Tori Sellos and Emma Hardy have held on to their spots, but there was no chance Marley Packer and Jess Breach weren't putting on black jerseys for this one, nor Zoe Harrison, who captains today. Most eye-catching of all, though, the goal-slotting, pocket-picking, tentacled Canadian in their engine room, World Player of the Year, Sophie de Goody. She's learning, she said last week, to balance both the pride and the heartbreak which came with that silver, a sensation very familiar to the North Londoners, who for so long were this league's dominant force. This isn't a revenge mission, but they certainly don't like the current status quo, and they have come here hell-bent on trampling all over the circus's big top. It's been a long time between drinks for Sarries, Emily, and that will really bother them, won't it?
Yeah, it will. It's said, downstairs in the pre-show that they're an incredibly proud club. They love these opportunities to play in the big competitions, to win silverware. Obviously, we've already seen them only a couple of weeks ago lift the PWR Cup. But that's probably not going to be good enough for them this season. They want to go bigger. They want to get the PWR title back in North London. And they've got some unbelievable talent throughout, returning, but also some really solid club players. So I think what Saracens' challenge this season is to just find that consistency and keep putting it out on the field every week.
And with fans like that, a home away from home. They were devastating on the road last year, 5 victories. What it would mean to the likes of Sophie de Goody, the world's best player, to be back in black and spoiling parties. And the champions. The title holders, the circus, the guardians of Queensholm. Emily, you know so many of this team incredibly well. Where is the fire coming from this season? Year 1 was the first title, Year 2 the defence, Year 3 the three-peat for a departing Sean Lynn. What's the drive now? Yeah,
I think it's probably a less obvious one this season, but for me, I think it's a highly motivated group of incredibly competitive athletes, and I think that is it. I think, what they've built over the last 3 seasons is unbelievable. They have the opportunity to go and do something that's not been seen in this modern PWR era in terms of 4 titles in a row. Obviously, we're a long way off that. But I think that opportunity for a group of players who are so talented, who are so close together, there's been barely any movement in their squad this season. They're welcoming back some of their long-term injured, so it might not be as obvious a motivation, but it's still very, very strong.
Fresh from her own World Cup campaign is our matchday referee, Hollywood. Well, 40 athletes from across these clubs headed to that tournament, and 14 returned with gold. 13 of them are stalking West Country turf right now. The champions in cherry and white, the visitors all in black and white. Claky George wields the giant scissors and will cut the ribbon on Queenstown for the season. As the smoke from the pyrotechnics clears here in Gloucester. It's Tori Sellers lifting it back and on to Harrison, wearing the armband for the first time in the PWR today. Space in the backfield, but Emma Singh keeps the ball in two hands and accelerates towards Georgia Evans. Hunt onto Perry, the former Ireland international. George slices that one through. It's a tricky one for Harrison, and the Shed liked what they saw there.
It's exactly what the Shed wanted, isn't it? Really early doors, inside the first minute.
Time off.
Give them something to get excited about, but it's great identification of space by Clayton George. Probably pushed it a little bit central, maybe. Some nice opportunities down those channels, certainly in the first instance.
Guys, let's start building. I'll put time back on.
But yeah, I think we've seen that a little bit across the league. Just a few shaky starts, everybody just getting back going.
Speaking to Goody in the week, she says that both sides are going to feel a little scattered today. It's inevitable. They've had 10 days to train for this. But as discussed, Saracens, the informed team in England right about now. 6 wins reeled off to make it back-to-back cup titles. The Circus, who have the feed here, are going to have to do it from a standing start. It tends to be an in-and-out scrum, and so it proves. Nice platform for George to pick out Tatiana Hurd, who's got fellow World Cup winner Jade Sheckles in support. Clear out from Brock. And this is now the captain. A woman who has lifted a lot of trophies in 2025, stood on top of a lot of podiums, Zoe Stratford. Big carry there from Stratford. And this, now Muir, player of the final when these two sides met, with all the marbles up for grabs. Matthews keeping it tight for now. Hunt picks out Brock, well met by Poppy Cleal. Hunt once more. Hurd, quick hands on to Vanna, who scored in each of those unsuccessful cup outings. But head and shoulders one of the best performers for Gloucester in those. Sarah Beckett, 4-time PWR champion, a club titan, even if she was deemed surplus to requirements at the last 2 World Cups. Matthews, Muir on an incisive line, barrelling and barging and stretching to open up the champions' accounts. Gloucester Hartpury starting with a hiss and a roar at Queenstown.
Oh, it's a brilliant start from both sides, and two sides that pride and build their entire games around the physicality and the forward power that they can bring, both sides of the ball, and we saw that for so many phases. Gloucester Hartpury trying to make an indent, Saracens holding strong. And then it's this carry there, speed of ball at that breakdown, gets Maud Muir on the front foot, around the corner, and they're the bits that are so incredibly difficult to defend. As soon as Gloucester Hartpury are able to speed up one breakdown, then they're in behind. And I can tell you from significant experience, trying to stop Maud Muir from there is incredibly difficult.
Most doctors advise against her. Emma Singh adds the extras, the league's top point scorer last year, picking up right where she left off.
It's almost like you could see Zoe Stratford and Mohan identify, right, this is the one. If we can get this one quick, the ball away, presented back quickly, that's the one that we can get them on.
It's the exact same try she scored in the final against Saracens. 10-metre run up, head down, shoulders squared, go.
Stay there. Let's get your timing right. Use it now, Lime!
Hunt finds McKenna rather than touch, and Harrison decides to have a run herself. Layered so much onto her game, ball in hand, over the last 18 months or so, Zoe Harrison. Jess Breach in off her wing. Cleal picking out Corrigan, the Canadian, 4 tries at the World Cup and an Olympic silver medal to boot. McKenna at first receiver. Offloading there is Galligan. No side offloads more in this competition than Sarries. Emma Hardy
Penalty advantage, 14 red offside.
And offside on that occasion was Mia Venner. So Saracens with a penalty at worst.
No advantage coming. One for not rolling here, which we just had, and then one over here. Here or here. On the 5. Just on
really
the
good
5.
response from Saracens. You saw Jess Breach stepping up as first receiver, as you
14,
mentioned.
offside.
Poppy Cleals, phenomenal handling ability in those outside channels, just to release those edges, just making sure that Gloucester Hartpury
Guys, on
early
your front
doors know that
person.
actually this Saracens team have
On your front
got a real
person.
edge threat as well.
2 new attacking influences with both of these teams. Matt Banahan, who we're hoping to hear from a little bit later on in the programme, coaching Gloucester Hartpury's attack, and Kevin Rouet working with Saracens this year as a consultant. Canada's head coach, one of the greatest
Scrum
minds
advantage.
in the game. Let's see what they've got up their sleeves here. Not that, but improvising. Bryony Fields, youngster who's done
Okay,
so
nothing coming there.
brilliantly
Back to
to
the
keep
knock-on
May
here.
Campbell out of that starting spot.
White
And
scrum.
actually, Emily, that is a really exciting appointment
Time off.
for Saracens. I say appointment, it's unofficial at this stage, but
14
that
was offside,
Kevin
and then
Rouet
not rolling.
is here, fresh from winning a silver medal with Canada, and adding
always something
layers
else
that
playing
didn't
that
even
against both
necessarily feel
options, yeah.
necessary onto the Saracens attack. It's really quite startling.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting. I think if you look certainly along the back line of this Saracens side, you've got
Feel
some
good?
phenomenal talent, you've got some
Okay.
phenomenal pace. So actually, if there's an opportunity to eke out another 1, 2, 5% from that,
Guys, we're
and
over
add
here
to
on
the game that we
15,
know
please.
they already have in terms of their physicality, their offloading ability up front, that's potentially a really exciting opportunity for Saracens this season.
Let's go. Together. Let's go. Let's go, come on. Let's go, girls.
Clifford, Fields and Tremelling packing down against Perry, Jones and Muir.
Just looking at Cleggie George's
Stand up.
setup initially from this scrum, looks like a
Can't have these two
really
head on head.
big
Find your
distance
gap,
that she's
okay?
giving Georgia
Let's go
Brock
again.
and Alex Matthews off the back of this scrum. If I was Saracens, you've got to be looking at that seam, potentially worried about the threat outside Gloucester Hartpury, but you've got to defend that initial threat first. Jess Breach looks like she's just having a little look at it and a point as well.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
Sellers will feed. Cleals at the base. Picks out her scrum half. Here comes Hardy. Oh, they've just gifted it to Gloucester Hartpury. Tatiana Hurd, as she so often is, that defensive lead.
Yeah, I think with Tatiana Hurd and Jade Sheckles, and I'm sure we'll speak far more about them during this game, you've got a really strong defensive unit. What you did see that countered my point is Mo Hurd, Georgia Brock, Alex Matthews getting off that scrum
Guys, don't
incredibly
only bind,
quickly,
okay?
putting Tori Sellers under pressure and shutting down that initial option at the line that Saracens want to go to.
Gloucester first.
It's going to be a Sarries put in, knock on by Gloucester first.
So if you're Zoe Harrison, who's just walked away from behind that scrum, indicating something with outstretched fingers, this is music to your ears. What a setup this is.
Yeah, everyone always speaks about how a centre field scrum is some of the best to attack from, but actually when you're this deep on the field, what you also get is Emma Singh in this example pretty flat in the line, so sometimes the front line options aren't as obvious as, you know, if you're much further down the field and you've already got a couple of people in the backfield, but nonetheless as backs you're getting pretty excited about all of this space.
Okay, guys, feet underneath you. Okay, you're set left of the mark, so we shouldn't have a problem with head on head here. Okay, find your gap. Let's go again.
Corrigan and Breach out wide today, but Deborah Wills back at Saracens now. Lottie Clapp, captain, currently nursing a pec injury. Paige Farries, back fit. They're not short on speed.
There's one thing I noted when I was obviously looking at the team sheets. Both benches for both teams today, but also, I guess, both non-playing players that aren't present in these squads, which is unbelievable.
Sellers with the skip pass onto Hardy. The inside option was Harrison, but the pocket's been picked. It's Mo Hunt. She's grappled to Dak. by Furious Hardy, but now the kick chase is on, and Tatiana Hurd has done wonderfully. Monstrous counter from the Wolfpack. Beckett lays that back to George, who just about gathers, drifting wide, looking to create some sort of overlap, and Singh has an almighty tidy-up job to do. Now they can get set. Brock's in the wide channel, so it's to the open that they go. Muir. Hunt Oxford territory, but she's gone and picked out Breach. Hardy on her shoulder. Saracens' first real opportunities going begging in this one.
Okay, hold.
Hoisted high from the captain. No problem whatsoever for Emma Singh. Most points, carries, defenders beaten in the whole competition last year. Made a weekly cameo at fullback and team of the week. Stratford.
Not rolling. It's up there.
It's a lovely kind of swapping of possession for a couple of phases there. It all obviously started down in the 22. Saracens, brilliant attacking opportunity. Moha just gets in that passing lane, she sees that as the inside defender, just comes and nicks that one. It's so frustrating as an attacking side when you lose possession and you end up 60, 70 metres further down the field. Gloucester Hartpury do a brilliant job of recycling. And then this is the bit that Saracens are really good at. They just control the tempo. They don't play a huge amount of rugby where they don't want to play it. Zoe Harrison has a phenomenal kicking boot. She'll continue to put balls in the right areas of the field. And then, as ever in games against, you know, like-for-like sides, the breakdown becomes such an important part. Discipline becomes such an important part. So Gloucester Hartpury just, with Natasha Hunt leading the charge, just probably a couple up at the moment in that front.
We've talked about all the international stars on show today in the women's game. The men's game is about to be lit up because the Quilter Nation Series is right around the corner and things get underway here on TNT next Saturday at 2 o'clock. See Borthwick's England taking on the Wallabies. That was an absolute thriller the last time out, so we'd love your company there. You mentioned how ridiculous the squads are for these two sides. Some of the numbers are also incredible, Scaz. Gloucester Hartpury have now won 52 of their last 58 matches in this competition. Zoe Stratford, all croft as she was then, having the audacity to say that they were in crisis last season when they were down at 5th in the standings at one stage. But then Saracens played 147 matches since this league's reinvention as the Premier 15s in 2017 and lost 20 of them.
It's a bit of a joke, really, isn't it? Just unbelievable numbers. Obviously, Saracens have, you know, much more history in terms of the longevity that they've been around at the top flight of English domestic rugby. But yeah, Gloucester Hartpury certainly in the last few seasons. We spoke about motivation beforehand. Is a good motivation for Gloucester Hartpury to try and go an unbeaten season. I don't think they've done one of those. Potentially, a bit early probably to be calling that, but
it's a spiral. Elicits a gasp from the World Cup winner alongside me off the boot of Claky George, who's got, it's fair to say, a big season ahead after a torrid World Cup as Wales's playmaker. Dan Murphy actually speaking in the week about how good it is to have the Welsh girls home, how it's nice for them to be back somewhere where they enjoy their rugby, where they experience winning, where they feel safe. And no doubt Sean Lynn has long-term plans for that programme, but right now it must be so nice for Claky to be back in these colours.
Yeah, I think certainly anyone, I think, at Gloucester Hartpury really enjoys playing their rugby, but none more so than Claky George. The platform that she has the opportunity to play behind because of the exceptional forwards that we've named a lot of already really puts her on the front foot, and her kicking game that we remark so much about really can then come to the fore.
Well, there is George's boot in full effect. She might have wanted an extra metre or two on that, but these penalties are going to start to hurt Saracens because it's been effortless for GH to make their way up to this point on the field. Kelsey Jones picking out Sam Monaghan, 2 members of the ACL Survivors Club, back playing in cherry and white at Queensholme. Speaking of discipline.
8, she's come off the maul and then gone back on.
Hollywood there just explaining that Poppy Cleal had detached herself, gone back on, and hence why she was able to nick the ball and come away with it, which did, from up here, did seem a little bizarre how she'd managed to do that. But certainly, and again, you know, it's really early on in the season, but certainly sometimes the thing that can sting Saracens at times is their discipline, is their ability to not let the opposition stay on top with field position and good possession.
Jones once more, 531 days between appearances in that strip.
Stay bound.
Cleanly away. Meaty counter drive from Saracens. They've stopped that thing dead. So out pivots Hunt, looking for soft shoulders and finding only a Cleal.
Okay, we've had a penalty here, another one here for 8 coming round, changing bind. Okay, and then another one played the 9, just discipline in this area around line out to maul, please. Okay?
Can I speak to them or are we playing?
I think they get the message. Okay.
I wonder if that was Marley's other way of saying,
right.
Can I just have a breather, please?
Right,
but yeah, again, you almost saw Mo at the back of that maul there, just looking at Rosie Gallagher and thinking, I think I can get another one here. It's just, again, Saracens have got to dig in. They had a really good defensive set there from the maul. Just got to make sure that they're doing it legally.
And the 3rd time of asking. This time it's Stratford who brings it down. And this looks promising. This is headed in one direction and one direction only. Gloucester Hartpury tenderising last year's finalists and bagging a big, beefy 5-pointer.
It's been very dominant so far from this Gloucester Hartpury side. It was stopped on the previous one, but really got this one going. Just see them working around that corner there. Kelsey Jones at the back looking after that ball. And obviously on the flip side of it, Saracens have just been essentially put on a warning. They know they've conceded a couple of penalties in quick succession in the 22. So their ability to really go at that maul is probably a little bit hampered by the niggle in the back of their head, not wanting to then concede a yellow card as well.
Three, 2.
Beautifully struck from Emma Singh. 5,000 through the turnstiles here today, and I think 4,900 are here in pink or red in some capacity.
Well, Emma Singh just checking in with the referee there because she got given a very quick 3-2-1 countdown on her conversion. Don't think there's a shot clock in the stadium, which just means it's a little bit trickier for kickers if you've not been given an earlier shout.
Well, we saw Claudia Pena timed out on a conversion effort on Friday night. Wins so far this weekend for Exeter Chiefs, for Harlequins and for Sale Sharks. This, though, the pick of the bunch. Here's Sarah McKenna looking to breathe some life into Saracens' opening bats. Tremelling, Harrison, Clifford. What a World Cup Kelsey Clifford had. Shaping for the offload, but thinking better of it there was Harrison. Big turnover. We talk about the abundance of riches in Saracens' back row. Georgia Brock and Alex Matthews take a bow.
Yeah, also when you think about the bench that includes a Beth Ann Lewis, who obviously played such a large part in last season. Just the speed back to your feet there from Alex Matthews. It's something you can never, ever question from her, is her work rate, her ability to get herself back in the game, do a second effort. And it's a great combination of 2 different, but equally as talented back row players.
A point a minute rather, from 3 Peters. That no good though, that putting pressure on Beckett.
You're fine, your tackle is still
Surely
there. Number 8 is still
Saracens are a penalty away from something a bit meatier than a warning.
there. Tackle's fine. 8 still on the floor.
I did just wonder whether there was a hint of a knock on there in the back line, but obviously referee team are happy. But just look at that. That's, if there's ever a massive momentum killer, a possession killer, a territory killer, a stat like that in terms of penalties conceded with only 17 minutes on the clock, is always going to be something that puts you just under so much pressure.
England's World Cup winning captain, Stratford, brings that safely down. Saracens need to be squeaky clean here. Lovely flat ball from Hurd onto a rampaging Beckett. Places that back beautifully, so it's swiftly onwards. Hunt to Stratford. Co-captains in tandem. This now Monaghan, one of Ireland's skippers. Experience everywhere you look. Nell Metcalfe can't quite control that one. 2 tries from 6 visits so far from Gloucester Hartpury, but it feels at the moment as though they're happy to let Saracens hang themselves by their own petard.
Scrum, yeah. Okay, scrum.
This is just lovely hands at the line. Tatiana Hurd, obviously we saw really early doors her ability to carry and her leg drive, but when she's able to bring other players into the game, especially somebody like a Sarah Beckett, who is all power, fantastic strength at the line. This is where, you know, you look at a Gloucester Hartpury side and they just really do have such a good all-court game. But yeah, Tatiana Hurd has been phenomenal in both English colours and Gloucester Hartpury colours for the last couple of seasons.
Tackle, release!
Freebie for Wales is Kelsey Jones off the top of that one. So it's ill discipline and inaccuracies at this stage for Saracens. When will the alarm bells start ringing in earnest? Now perhaps, as El Perry makes up another 3 or 4 metres. All the options there for George. Manages to find Shekels with the pirouette and then the splashdown. Saracens are giving them an awful lot of opportunities, but credit to the champions, they are taking them.
Again, it was a slightly messy finish in the end, but all Gloucester Hartpury doing is just working harder and quicker around the corner. They're beating Saracens around the corner. They're all caught looking in. And then you've got, you know, a couple of people, 2, 3 people on the overlap there. Nell Metcalfe and Emma Singh as well out there. And for the moment, it's a case of Saracens. They've got to front up more in the tackle. They've got to create a slower breakdown, and then they've got to work quicker around the corner. Gloucester Hartpury aren't throwing, you know, lots of different things at them. They're not jumping back down short sides. They're just going the same way.
That changed direction about 4 times aerially, so 19 plays nil.
You just see how tight the Saracens' defence have got there. You've got your 13, your 14, your 15, all so narrow, and you've got 2 or 3 Gloucester players on the outside. They've just got to find a way that either you get up and off the line and shut it off on that first, second pass in those scenarios, or you've been able to get much more width because you've slowed the ball down in the tackle.
Well, that an error. Beautifully struck off the restart, and Nell Metcalfe let that one bounce. It might have been a long time since Kelsey Jones was throwing in these cherry and white colours, but the line-out's such an area of strength for the champions. And that, an immaculate instance of commentator's curse, but somehow, as only players of her calibre can, Stratford turns it into front foot ball. Perry now, no doubt with son Bert watching on from the stands, one of the darlings of this programme, and here is Hurd. Hands from Muir were so crisp and devastating in the build-up. Inside ball, George onto Shekels. They're growing in confidence, Gloucester Hartpury. And Saracens are doing nothing to stem the bleeding. Brock. All of this cute interplay. It's wreaking havoc with Sarri's defensive system, and here comes Beckett with a run-up, bumping Sydney Gregson disdainfully.
Stay there, stay there.
George, excellent tackle from Fields, chases on, well gathered by Sellors, pins her ears back, gives it some, oh! Still playing Alicia Corrigan, thinks she's going to score, but the whistle has gone. Oh, and that's so unlucky.
I mean, there was an awful lot in that passage of play, and it all started at the line-out where it looked like
part of the tackle,
something knock-ons either side. But this beautiful hands from Maud Muir. Again, we speak so much about her carrying ability, but also, and then the inside ball to Alex Matthews. So as much as I spoke about Gloucester Hartpury going the same way, they also have these lovely variations, just on little tip plays, balls back inside. But I think that's what Saracens need to do more of. They've got to get off the line. They've got to put Gloucester Hartpury under pressure. It is how this Saracen side likes to defend. They like to get high. They like to get in those passing channels, not give somebody like a Claky George lots of time to just pick her pass.
Well, the good thing is we're about to hear from their new attack coach in these parts, a man who knows this ground extremely well, having played for Gloucester, Mr. Matt Banahan. First, let's see how this unfolds. Find out what sort of mood we're going to visit him in. It's on the decorated toes of Al Matthews. Hunt watching on for now. She's nutmegged Sheckles, having bypassed Hurd and George. Choke tackle by Gregson is excellent. Poppy Cleo lending a hand with the officiating.
Yeah, you could definitely hear Poppy Cleo's thoughts on the situation. And she was right, it was a really good tackle. And then Emma Hardy straight over the top of it. And these are the moments that Saracens needed. They needed something just to turn the tide a little bit, give them an opportunity in a really good area of the field.
I reckon he was in a slightly cheerier mood 30 seconds ago. But let's head down, shall we, and hear from the West Country's finest. Ashley Wilmot has caught up with Matt Banahan.
Thanks, Claire. Nice spot here, isn't it, Matt? Good to see you. He's been told off for standing up because you're so tall. Matt, great to have you as part of the PWR. Obviously, you're former Scotland women's attack coach. You joined this team in July. How's it been settling in?
It's been good settling in. It's obviously a great team. I was part of the Gloucester men's environment, so I know what the club means to the city. But it's been brilliant the last 2 weeks, getting all the internationals back. And obviously, we're expressing ourselves out on the pitch. We play a game where we can entertain, as the circus normally wants to try and do, and we start this game quite well.
It's pretty physical out there, as you can see. What are the elements of the attacking aspect of the game that you've been most enjoying at the moment?
We had to bring some intent in the carry. We know how that Saracens pride themselves on that style of game, and luckily we trained on Friday and it was absolutely hammering down our rain, so we had to be a bit more honest with the ball. We couldn't shift it to the edges as quickly as we want. So Friday's session really prepped us well for today's game, because it's spitting, but it's just greasy, it's slippy as the ball nearly hits cameraman, but not done.
And the fans like that one, don't they?
Yeah, that's what it is. They'll put a bit of pressure. And like I said, the PWR is growing, but the crowd here is brilliant. Like we're just seeing how we can now sell out pretty much two sides of King Zone, which is fantastic for these girls to play in front of.
Isn't it just? Great to have you with us. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, thank you very much.
Thanks, Matt. Back to you, Claire.
He has been at this ground in the colours of Bath and in Gloucester, so he knows both sides of the player experience. He's had donkey cries levelled at him, and he's been the king of this place. And as Ashley said, so good to have him in this league. Scotland's attack, Skaz, absolutely sparkled under his tutelage at the World Cup. But of course, he'd left the programme by then, but all the groundworks had been laid.
Yeah, of course. I think, you know, certainly from a Scotland point of view, they needed to get themselves going. In the last couple of seasons, they really have. And obviously, Matt Banahan has been a huge part of that. A lot of change going on up there now, lots of coaching changes. But yeah, great to see Matt Banahan as part of the league.
Number one, hinging.
It's been a good few minutes then for Maud Muir. Just won the penalty at the scrum, but got to revisit that bump on Marley Packer.
Outside the 22, yeah, just on the edge.
It's interesting, isn't it? A lot of people speak about how players are going to come back from a World Cup. What's their motivation like? How have they been feeling in terms of playing quite quickly after such a huge event? I think Morton Muir just answered that one with her actions.
Some early season creaks, some kinks to iron out.
For me. Okay, feet underneath.
Yeah, Saracens just not quite getting bounce of balls, rubs of greens, whatever you want to call it, just at the moment. And it will come, it will definitely come. I think, you know, still a long time left, even in this first half, but knowing the likes of some of the people they have involved in their squad, a half-time team talk and a half-time rally is certainly something that will serve them very, very well.
Matthew decides to have a rumble, and it's been a difficult couple of phases for Marley Packer. It's Matthews on this occasion. Beckett has to catch that on her shoulder, but gets it onwards for Monaghan. Wider effort this time from Hunt. Finds Kelsey Jones. There's a Neve Jones wearing 16 on the bench for the Circus today. No less impactful. Perry, who's played in finals for both of these clubs. George can't hoover that one up. Sydney Gregson is on it.
So she's then come up again.
Saracens will have the feed here.
No, she was tackled, then she can't get back up, she didn't release it.
With the PWR premiere on Friday this week, as Quins took on Loughborough Lightning down at the Stoop. We've got a different premiere to bring you next week. 10 o'clock, Friday night. Mark your cards. The Lions Uncut is coming to TNT Sports 1. All the behind the scenes from that sensational trip down under. And with a women's rugby tour on the horizon, as Dan Murphy watches on.
Crouch! Bite! Set!
The home side, one on each occasion when these two met last year, and these are always high-scoring pendulum affairs. Swings in momentum, swings on the scoreboard. And Poppy Cleal decides it is time to change that momentum. She's gone and kicked it, the number 8. That looked to have landed on the line, and Gloucester certainly think so.
It'd be great to have another look at that down the line. But it just shows probably an element of frustration from somebody like a Poppy Cleal. She wants to get Saracens field position. She wants to get them back in the game.
Number 1 was always on the angle on setup.
I mean, yeah, that's gone straight out, unless she was still inside the 22 when she kicked it.
I think they've got that one wrong.
Roll.
Beckett takes the attention of 3 Saracens to halt.
Okay,
back into the
front,
pocket.
Guys.
George slices that one. It's end over end, and it's a tester for Sellos. Ben has done so well. Oh, and then she gathers. Ball tucked under one bicep. Hunt, swiftly. Hurd, threading the needle there, and here's the 2-on-1 for Singh. Opts to go it alone. Had Metcalf screaming for it on her outside shoulder.
No hands, your tackle is still there. Your tackle is
Big
still
shot from Hardy. Packer told in no uncertain terms to leave it alone.
Thanks.
Stratford, shot down low by Tremelling. Muir, full of confidence, full of running. They've gone coast to coast here, Gloucester Hartpury Venner, chasing after that one, and Sarah McKenna's having a really tough time underneath those balls, over those balls.
Okay, taken back over by White.
Gloucester Hartpury have gone 60 metres in a matter of seconds.
Again, just their ball retention is so impressive. They're all on the same page, which you're never quite sure, certainly in that first game. Claykie George again, just pushing it through, just managing that possession. Mia Venner, such a brilliant kick chaser. She was the one that started it with that high kick initially. She chased after it, regained possession.
Okay.
And again, another ominous defensive spot here for Saracens.
I don't think we've said Sophie de Goody's name since we kicked off. That's how quiet Gloucester Hartpury have kept Saracens.
Crouch!
go. Stay square, Raoul, let's go.
Set.
2, 3,
Onto the short side they go, and Al Matthews special rising and accelerating. Hunt goes Rooseling. Perry is there. Once again, there's no Beckett. Monahan and Brock just ensuring that ball stays red. This for the bonus point. Gloucester Hartpury can finish this one off. They'll have a guaranteed table point before we even head to the break. Perry getting through a pile of work, ball in hand, and now they switch the point of attack. Hurd needed to give that ball, but it's outstanding defensive work from McKenna. Ball slowed for now. Venner in a scrum half. Brock wants it. Tackled by Evans, and Field looking to turtle the open side. Monahan's there, clapping hands. But then pops it backwards. Now they can spread it wide. It's got to go. Metcalf has got absolutely no one for company on the touchline right before our gantry.
Use it.
Stratford. Clayton George, slow to rise, but now she's back onto her feet. Keeping it tight for now, trusting the big women are Gloucester Hartpury, but they're not making many inroads now. Saracens sitting back, making their tackles. Intercepted brilliantly so, back in field, and then the counter. Singh with the dancing feet. Chink of light for Saracens, but extinguished in a moment.
Just a scrum advantage, knocked on in the tackle, ball was out,
Gloucester
lifted.
Hartpury might have scrum advantage here, but they're back outside their own 22. It is long, emptying, leg-sapping stuff, this.
Okay, we're under pressure there. Just back to the knock-on in the tackle.
Well, fundamentally, it's a much better defensive set from Saracens. Fronting up, really getting in those channels, giving themselves these opportunities. Bryony Field really well off the line, then unfortunately just gives it to a player in the wrong colour in Emma Singh. Poppy Cleo, this is potentially the penalty, I think.
No, your tackle got there.
But again,
okay. So
it's just the frustration, I think, that is coming out in Saracens at the moment that is just causing and leading to those
yeah, water can come on.
penalties.
Not deliberate, it's part of the tackle.
Bobby Cleal's kick earlier on might have been eyebrow raising, but it will be heading into the actual world of football a little bit later on. Bit of Serie A football for you. Lazio Juventus, 7:30 on TNT1 at the Stadio Olimpico, 12th hosting 7th. Always a prickly affair.
Okay, over here, guys.
Skaz, I'm really intrigued by this performance from Gloucester Hartpury, or perhaps actually no, I'm more intrigued by the performance from Saracens, because they had all the momentum coming into this one. 6 matches won en route to that cup title, and Alex Osterbury has rewarded form in the likes of Cleal, of Sells, of Hardy and Gregson keeping their jerseys, but they've not fired a shot today.
No, they haven't, and I think we'll speak too early, because I genuinely think they will in the second half. This obviously isn't how they like to go about what they do, but I think potentially more surprising is Gloucester Hartpury and how they have come out here. But we also know how much they love playing here at Kingsholm, how much it means to them, and also, as we spoke about before, the pride that they have in what they've accomplished in the last 3 seasons.
Perry at the heart of those 3 titles. The PWR trophy has put down roots in Gloucester of late. Not budged. The word dynasty is just starting to be used in these parts. 3 titles, 3 tries so far in this one, with minutes remaining on the half. Nell Metcalf again is all by herself, utterly isolated. But for now, it's up the guts. Beckett with another carry. Hurd switching the point of attack, finding Brock, who's just dumped by Packer. Sarries with a little something to show for something.
There it is, that's the moment. Again, it's a brilliant defensive set. Gloucester Hartpury just probably getting a little bit slower ball than they would want, but to take nothing away from Saracens. And there you go, you said you hadn't mentioned it yet. Sophie de Goody over the ball, saw the opportunity. Marley Packer with the chop. And it came from that initial defensive pressure. Said Saracens like to get off the line. They've not had opportunity to do that. Get off the line, force Gloucester Hartpury back inside, then you get your opportunities.
It's gone back.
Fields around the back of that one, having picked out Galligan. And here she is again, chipping that onto Harrison, flying up with Shackles, but she's overcommitted, and the velvety Signe Gregson can find McKenna. That's gone forwards.
The intent was right. All I thought was find Jess Breach, give Jess Breach the ball. She's your absolute wheels. But again, Poppy Cleal is leading from the front here. Top offloader last season. In the same vein this season. A little bit fortuitous there in terms of getting it over the top. Then Signe Gregson puts her head down. And Sarah McKenna knows exactly where she wants the ball to go. And she just can't have enough processing time to realise that Jess Breach is actually in front of her as she starts to deliver it. Just a couple of let-offs, really, isn't it, for Gloucester Hartpury? As good as they have been, they also haven't really been under any particular amount of pressure yet in this game.
Crouch! Bind!
Hunt will feed. These days, of course, a double World Cup winner. George, Hurd, Shackles. Just ticking along through that midfield spine, ripped by Gregson, who's had a couple of fabulous involvements in here. Sets Packer, bumps one, bumps two. Harrison offloading, Alicia Corrigan like a Canadian pinball, and all of a sudden, Saracens' tails are up. Stratford with a captain's tackle. Field straightens, floors it. Sellors, Harrison picking out Evans. Perry was wise to that. She saw that one coming. Excellent read from the loose head. Cleal brings Saracens to as close as they have been in some time. Off the deck, De Goody finds Hardy, who is so evasive once she finds a soft shoulder. Ball pilfered back though. Alex Matthews has her biggest games in the biggest of games.
Use it.
And now Gloucester Hartpury will play from 95 out. George back pedals. Wants another phase. Perhaps
Okay,
even another two.
Okay, just hold there. Use it now, no! Just get your timing from there.
It's Hunt on clearance duties. Half touched, I think, by De Goody.
Oh, Saracens, well, they've gone quickly.
Let's see what comes.
Yeah, it's been harem-scarum at points this game. Gregson with a delicate little grubber. Got Singh to beat, pounces upon it. She plays at such a pace. Does the utility back. Galligan thumped. Sellors once more. There's a little 3v3 and hardly any room in which to work. Harrison stood behind a trio of bruisers.
Play it. Play it.
Harrison once more finds Packer there with the footwork, keeps hold of that ball, skittling through contact with Evans, who's back on her feet now. Harrison, Corrigan fumbles, it's gone backwards. Metcalf gets a toe to it and sets off.
No advantage coming.
Not entirely sure how to summarise all of that, Claire. It was a fantastic passage of play. Saracens have kicked into life now, led by Marley Packer. A couple of brilliant breaks by her.
No, it's bad.
Signe Gregson as well, so involved, but it's just a change of intent. It's not at all accurate, but it's a change of intent from Saracens in terms of trying to get the ball back in, add a bit of pace to it. As I say, Signe Gregson has really come to the fore. Lovely little kick through. Just trying to get this Saracens machine rocking and rolling a little bit. And unfortunately, it's just plagued by those inaccuracies at the moment.
little scattered, Sophie de Goody predicted.
Yes.
It's definitely that. Mo Hunt decides to hit pause on the chaos. And both Cherry and Whites and Wolfpack will head to the sheds. Well, we promised you a spectacular opening number with an all-star cast, but I think it's fair to say some lines have been fluffed in the process. Tries for Maud Muir, Kelsey Jones and Jade Shackles, Emma Singh with the double conversion. Saracens yet to land a blow, but make no mistake, they will be back with snarl and menace on the other side of this short break. 19-0 here at Queensholme. Welcome back to Queensholme, where those were like a pair of pantomime masks, the two different faces coming out of the tunnel. All smiles and jokes from Mo Hunt, from Zoe Stratford, but Saracens, the Wolfpack, in need of a little bit more dog in this second 40. So, departing the fields, Bryony Field and Carmen Tremelling, and on May Campbell and Donna Rose, two athletes, Emily Scarrett, who will bring plenty of dog.
Yeah, absolutely plenty. May Campbell, the absolute jackal specialist. She probably had right up there in terms of turnovers, certainly last season, off the back of a very successful World Cup campaign with England. Yeah, she's a brilliant player to bring on. And Donna Rose, as you say, just somebody who's going to give you that extra bit of bump, that extra bit of steely-eyed nous that Saracens are certainly in need of at the moment.
Time on.
Don't let the immaculate doily scrunchie fool you. May Campbell is as niggly as they come, an archetypal nuisance front rower. Safely cleared by Flaky George.
On the line.
And the smiles on Gloucester Hartpury faces really are noticeable. They seem incredibly relaxed today.
Yeah, I think you have to be, don't you? You know, so many of these players have come off the back of a really successful World Cup campaign, a really successful domestic season. Your first game is at home and you've gone into the change rooms leading 19-0 against your essential arch rival.
Here we go, Nell Metcalf hoovering up that errant line-out ball from Campbell. Hunt has spotted acres of unoccupied turf. McKenna, though, swift to shut the door on that one, flopping on top of her. Stratford, the two co-captains again combining for the home side. Cleel rises, crashes into Muir.
Okay, stop moving. Not rolling. Got to go a bit quicker.
As ever, there's always a slight disagreement at the bottom of breakdowns like that. But again, just Saracens not able to keep a hold of that ball. Zoe Stratford, the ability to chase. She's so incredibly athletic, and this is the penalty there. You can see Poppy Cleel, she knows exactly what she's doing. It's the perfect spot down in the 22 to try and eke a penalty out.
Scrum advantage.
0 from 2 from Campbell. Though the knock-on from Gloucester Hartpury means it's Saracens who will feed.
Lineups have been a bit of a mess all day, really, haven't they? Again, whether it's just that personnel not clicking, both sides obviously have really strong defensive units as well. Sophie de Goody, Rosie Gallagher going up, Zoe Stratford, Alex Matthews, Sam Monaghan going up. It's certainly not an area that has been cleanly contested at the moment.
New systems as well for a new season. We know that Gloucester Hartpury have refreshed all of their line-out calls under Dan Murphy.
Okay. Guys, don't step off on that setup, okay? To make sure feet are underneath you. Let's go again, guys.
So, Al Perry, Kelsey Jones, Maud Muir, but for Saracens now, a new look front row. Still the corner, Kelsey Clifford, but May Campbell and Donna Rose, a World Cup winner, and an abrasive Welsh woman. What a shove from the champions. Saracens have gone back 10 metres. And the celebrations there writ large on Gloucestershire faces.
Well, Maud Muir probably a little bit frustrated, to say the least, at penalty decision, etc. And she's leading the charge with that front row.
Jones on to Matthews, who captained the Red Roses against the USA at the World Cup. This now Hunt. Packer extending her hands there and well aware that she conceded a penalty in the process. Venner's carry. So that,
agree, penalty.
an eminently kickable penalty, but more likely that'll get drilled into the corner if Gloucester Hartpury can't come away with something here in open play.
Penalty advantage.
Monaghan, the Colossus, and then the little dinky pass out the back door from Beckett. George is at the base of all of that.
Still under pen advantage.
Perry, who has got through so much work today, the former Saracen. Same could be said of Maud Muir, who's pulling up trees and squishing wolves. Brock. Cries of Gloucester at Kingsholm, reaching, stretching and scoring. Sam Monaghan, better known for the dark arts, the hard yards, the unfussy stuff, but for now her name up in lights.
It's a brilliant finish from Sam Monaghan. Uses all of that limb length at the end. But again, it's just the patience from Gloucester Hartpury. You know, they're not getting the speed of ball potentially that they would want, but it's no drama. And defensively for Saracens, that's really, really weak. They won't be happy with that. It's a 2-on-1 and they've not been able to stop, albeit a very powerful Sam Monaghan, but a brilliant finish for her. How good to see her back in cherry and white colours. Smile on her face, playing incredibly well.
10 seconds.
Well, there's a real breeze that's picked up in the last half hour or so here at Kingsholm, but doesn't bother Emma Singh a jot. 24 becomes 26, and the champions have their try bonus point.
I know there's still a long way to go in this second half, but that 0 against the Saracen side is something you're just not used to seeing, certainly not for this long in a game.
Well, they had the best regular season attack last year, scored more tries than anyone over the 18 rounds we saw.
Taken back.
To Goody, looking to put pressure on Flaky George, who sent that into a backfield which now contains Scotland international Beth Blacklock. Just running into the left of your picture now and just receiving that cut-out ball now. Blacklock's first involvement. Mia Venner, whose praises are sung for her attacking work, but is a defensive rock and freakishly strong with it. Makes the tackle. That nice. And on to Clifford, who shows incredible strength of her own to stay on her feet. The quick pick and go from a writhing Campbell. Evans, Harrison, Packer. Manages to offload on to De Goody. Might this be the spark that Saracens need? No. It's turned scrappy once more. Sellos thrusts that one backward. Harrison.
Turnover's good. Back for the knock-on by Red.
Sarri's scrum, and 3 changes made now by Alex Osterbury in search of answers that haven't come.
They haven't, but they're starting to. They're asking really good questions. That line there from Marley Packer, the offload to Sophie De Goody. That's the one that just gets forced, but just watch this tackle. Cover tackle from Alex Matthews on Sophie De Goody.
How is scrum pitches your side, Ben?
Brilliant tackle from her. Just again, the sheer determination. Understands there's a breach. Work off the line just to make sure that everything is felled as fast as possible.
Say again.
And 2 of them there Alex Matthews, two-time World Player of the Year nominee. Zoe Stratford, winner of that award in 2021. They're the heartbeat of that pack. It's not just the passion, is it? It's the IQ, it's the guile.
I'll start the time.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things for the pair of them is just their work rate and their constant work rate. Everyone can turn it off and turn it on at certain times, but those two just put it in every single time they're out on the field. How Alex Matthews hasn't won a World Player of the Year yet, it's beyond me. Hopefully she does get at some point that recognition that she definitely deserves.
One of the greatest to ever do it. And we have 3 World Player of the Years, past and present, on the field right now. 3 of them in that pack. Blacklock in at first receiver, gets the ugly yards done and won, and Sellers switches it back in field. Campbell, so hard to bring down. She's 5'3" on a tall day. Evans. And that round the corner, fine work from Marley Packer. Look how narrow it has made the Gloucester Hartpury defence. Poppy Cleal pushing and shoving Hunt on the floor. Going again, Saracens. Clifford somehow avoided being held up on that occasion. Rose with it. Brilliant shot from Matthews. Bodies on the line.
Keep hands up.
But the Saracens' mercy. De Goody is there, but Packer heads around the corner.
Hands away, hands away.
Sandbags against the flood. Saracens as close as they've been all match. McKenna's out on the far touchline. There it is. Try scored by last year's top try scorer, May Campbell herself. What an impact. 9 minutes, 5 points on the board.
Well, it was only a matter of time, really, when they got that close to the try line. With the quality of player that they have. Still some complaining going on at breakdowns and trying to eke out penalties and stuff. I'd love to see Saracens just put their head down, get on with it. They did that in the end. And it's so incredibly hard to defend when you're centimetres away from your try line like that. But this is good from Saracens. They've got themselves back in the game. They've got the 0 off the board. It's that classic now of catching the kickoff and making sure they get themselves into an area of the field where they can launch again.
Smarts on full display from Gloucester Hartpury, who take their time.
Okay, we sweat, and I've spoken to them.
Holly Wood, a very experienced referee, was at the World Cup herself and oversaw Sarries' semi-final against Quins last year. And I think you need to be an experienced official for this game. Oh, look at the carry there from Kelsey Jones. Back in that shirt, like she's never been away. Stratford next to have a tilt. Saracens preparing to make yet more changes to build on this momentum, and so too are Gloucester Hartpury. Lovely from Jones. Singh with the half break. Packer made a much needed tackle, but they've got so many numbers, the Circus. Pass finds Nell Metcalf, but it's an unforgiving one. Tackle by Corrigan.
Okay, stay there.
Gloucester Hartpury had such a gilt opportunity there, but just couldn't quite execute cleanly.
Penalty advantage, playing the ball on the floor.
Drawing the penalty there.
Nothing coming. Okay, 5, you're off feet, and then you've played the ball. Off feet, and then played the ball, number 5.
Exactly what Gloucester Hartpury would have wanted, get themselves back down the field. Again, it came from a Saracens error. Just getting super flat to the line.
Just here, guys.
Gloucester Hartpury, rightfully so, just taking their time. They're in full control of this game. And this is what Gloucester Hartpury do really well. Keep eyes on Emma Singh, just looking around that corner. You're using forwards to handle, using forwards to carry hard, interlinking with backs, and then the ball out wide from Claky George. Haven't seen a huge amount of Nell Metcalf, but good to see her on the ball. And you can see there, it's a pretty easy penalty to give.
Okay, just hold it there till I put time
two of this place's favourite daughters, Sam Monaghan and Georgia Brock, are done for the afternoon. Matt Banahan looks thrilled with what he's seen. So too Lewis Arnold. And on, how about these for cavalry? Beth Ann Lewis and Kate Williams. Two recent Welsh captains. Two relentless operators. Kelsey Jones still going with it at the base. Working their way towards what would be a fifth score to extinguish that response from Saracens, and there it is.
It's really good from Gloucester Hartpury. It's just so composed. They know exactly what they want to do. They've just conceded. They take the sting back out of the game, take their time, set themselves up. You could hear the referee Hollywood telling Natasha Hunt to use it once, but she decided that actually just everybody put your head down and go, and we can actually get over on that occasion. I don't need to move the ball. Really well steered there. You see Zoe Stratford works so incredibly hard again at the front of that.
She's a wonderful sharpshooter, is Emma Singh. Absolutely invaluable is the ball in hand stuff, the defensive work, the aerial game, but also that ability to just keep on twisting the knife on the scoreboard. 33 plays 7.
Yeah, well, when you score as many tries as Gloucester Hartpury do and you keep adding twos to the end, all of a sudden that score really does mount up, and Emma Singh proving exactly where she left off last season. And then these are the things that just don't help. A Saracen side that's just struggling to find any form of possession, territory, momentum, energy, arguably at times.
It's bizarre to watch, Skaz, because they're spiralling here, Saracens. And that Campbell score could have been a foothold, but they've let that slip right through their grasp.
Yeah, it's really tough, isn't it? You think you've got 15 players on the field, and it's not a case of one person's making all the errors. It's, you know, if everybody makes one, all of a sudden that's 15, and that's an awful lot. So it's just one of those things. Unfortunately, sometimes you have those games, sometimes you have those days. And the other bit you have to remember is you're playing against a team that is absolutely stacked with international all-stars.
And here come three of them now in that wide channel. Hurds, Garubba just pinning Saracens back. And some attention needed.
Time off.
That's Kelsey Clifford down in the centre of the pitch.
On which side? Sideline?
Which does give us time to remind you of all that is coming up on TNT over the coming weeks. The Quilter Nations series gets underway in earnest in a fortnight's time, but we're giving you a sneak peek next weekend as England host the Wallabies at the Allianz Stadium in Twickenham. Build-up starts at 2 o'clock, and that is followed by Scotland against the USA, your tea time fixture. And speaking of the Australians, the British and Irish Lions were down there over the summer, and Lions Uncut will be available, a live premiere for you at 10 p.m. on Friday next week.
I hear you. I'll go that side
at
next.
the moment, they're getting undressed and stuck in, like they're driving. When they get the step, that's fine.
So watching on there, Moritz Berta, Saracens forwards coach, and it is a ridiculous coaching ticket, it really is. Alex Osterbury himself, a little consultancy from Kevin Rouet here for his own personal development, as much as he is that of the Londoners. Neil Harris overseeing the scrum, Lewis Soanes, their senior assistant coach, Harry Wilson, and even Sarah McKenna, who's coaching the under-20s these days. They're not short on experience in London, but there's only so much a coach can do on a day like this.
Yes, I agree. These are the really tough days, aren't they? You can rally the girls up, you can get stuck into them, you can give them the hairdryer, you can put an arm around. There's all, you know, so many different ways, but fundamentally they've got to step up and just take a hold of it themselves. And at the moment, they're unable to do that, and Gloucester Hartpury certainly aren't letting them do that.
Doesn't get any easier for them. Quins at home next Sunday, then a trip to Bristol. And Saracens go longer than anyone before their bye week, so there's plenty of rugby in the pipeline. What have they got up their sleeves here?
Just seen Jess Breach touch the ball in a bit of space, potentially for the first time in this game, which again has got to be something that you're really trying to work towards as a Saracens side with someone of, you know, her prolific try-scoring ability.
Scrum advantage over.
Well, she's worked her way into the centre of the field here, and Harrison sets off on a little adventure. Sellers onto De Goody. Plenty of time to salvage things here for the Londoners. They're capable of scoring in 5s and 7s and more. Into the pocket, and Blacklock, who's got a cannon of a boot on her, only picks out Singh. You can hear the shed roaring at the fullback to give it a go, but instead she opts the split. That's Sarri's backfield. Blacklock hit that off the side of the boots. That's no good.
Straight out. Substitutions. These guys. Guys, 1 and 2, please. 1 and 2. And number 5, guys. 5. Sub.
Some more changes being made now by Dan Murphy, a pair of them in the front row. On wearing 16 to replace that woman there is Niamh Jones. So Jones for Jones, Kelsey for Niamh. And also on at tight head, Rani Samuda, who is the captain and heartbeat of a fledgling Jamaican rugby side.
Time back on.
The Saracens also removing Rosie Gallagher from the field of play, which means the introduction of Lou McMillan, the Scot who lifted the PWR Cup just a fortnight ago. All the Saracens forwards are at it. Overthrown line out. Campbell decides to send that into the backfield. A tester for Nell Metcalf, who loves a little chip and a chase and the bounce. Oh, she's gathered that quite marvellously. Quick ball and whipped off the deck there by Matthews, who can do it all. She really can. George, Hurd, Shackles is there, but instead they pick out Singh. And now float forwards. Yes.
It's the right call. It's a brilliant initial run from Nell Metcalf on that far side. Not seen her a huge amount. Just a lovely weight on that chip. Gets it right in between the front line and the back defensive division in Zoe Harrison. Regathers it. And then brilliant hands along the back line. Sarah McKenna closing and putting loads of pressure on Emma Singh. She just can't quite hold her feet just enough to be in real control of that pass, pushing it out to the edge to Mia Venner. It's interesting, as good as Gloucester Hartpury have been today, we've probably not really seen their backs in full flight. We've not seen Emma Singh with too much hands on ball. Now Metcalf, Mia Venner.
In terms of the reigning champions, they're happy just to hold on here.
I'm going slow on purpose.
Bonus point win in the bag. But what can Saracens
please maintain the space.
come up with in the final 20 minutes? You mentioned their coaching ticket. Ashley Wilmot has found assistant forwards coach Harry Wilson. It'll be fascinating to hear how they think they might turn this thing around.
Good question, Claire. Like you say, I'm with Harry Wilson, the assistant forwards coach. You've actually just joined the team this season. You're currently playing for Saracens men's team as well. What have you made about the physicality of this side? It's a side of Saracens that we've not really seen before.
Yeah, look, we're probably today struggling to lose collisions, to be honest with you. Like, that's how Gloucester have got into the game. They've won collisions, whether that's at set piece, whether that's around the field. So, like, that was the biggest thing at half time we spoke about. We said we need to start winning some collisions, and whatever we put into this second half around our shots is the most important thing, to be honest with you.
19-0 down at half time. What was said in that dressing room?
It was pretty much win collisions as much as we can, win collisions, and then just try and get ourselves a foothold back into the game. Like, obviously Gloucester Hartpury came out flying, 19-0 up is a real tough ask, but the biggest thing is that we want to put pride back into this performance, so that's been the biggest thing for us the second half.
Do you feel like you're seeing that?
Look, we've had a bit of a reaction. We're definitely upping up our collisions, and we're trying to find our way back into the game. So, you know, there's no lack of effort by the girls. They're hopefully it's just small errors like that, do you know what I mean? Just killed us today a little bit, but there's girls coming back in, different players back together again, so yeah, it'll take a bit of time.
Thanks so much, Harry.
Thank you. Cheers.
Just for me, okay. You put too much weight through there, and then you're straight across.
Sometimes it just isn't your day, and you get a launch play off a line out, and you hit the referee with the rugby ball instead. But when was the last time, Skaz, you heard someone talk about Saracens playing for pride?
Yeah, not particularly often in my lifetime. It's really interesting listening to that in terms of physicality. There's lots of things that you don't tend to hear in relation to a Saracen side, losing collisions, pride back in the jersey, potentially a bit around energy and commitment to that. It's really interesting. Again, it's game one of the season. It's not gonna predict everything that's going to happen, but it's a good indicator to start with.
Breach, finally, with ball in hand in the 22. He's gone forwards off a Saracen. So, last year's table toppers, last year's trophy hoisters, looking to clear away. Harrison worked so hard to get back for that, and then did really well to find Corrigan in support. There's the clear out from Blacklock.
Playing the 9 within a metre.
And they go quickly. They have to. The clock isn't their friend at this point in time. Sellos, Packer, McMillan, Rose. The impact of the replacements has been noticeable, and here's another one, Campbell.
No.
Georgia Evans somehow releasing Campbell, and look at the hooker rumble. McKenna. Tackled by Beckett. Blacklock finds Gregson, one to beat, just ducks a shoulder and accelerates. Saracens fans' voices raised for the first time in some time,
Okay, we're not playing with
but
players on
that's
the
gone
floor here.
forwards.
Just when you think they're really starting to string it together. May Campbell's been brilliant since she came on.
1 and 14,
Really good energy from her, and this is Saracens when they do get going. They love to offload the ball, they love to keep it alive, finding some really good edges. As I said, May Campbell's been brilliant when she came on. That looked a little forward, but we'll let them play. And then it's just the bit at the end that they're just not being able to get a grip of at the moment, and haven't been able to all day. But they're showing snippets, tiny snippets of what they are capable of when they are able to keep that ball moving.
Well, interestingly, they're going to keep changing things until something sticks by the looks of it, because Amelia McDougall is on for Jess Breach. So Sydney Gregson goes to the wing. McDougall in its centre, you would assume, alongside Harrison. And Liz Craik is also on in the front row. Kind of George's marvellous medicine style. Alex Osterbry is just throwing things in the cauldron, seeing if something comes out functional.
Your side. Okay.
We mentioned all the international rugby that is coming your way. We've also got an accompanying review and preview show, the Quilter Nations Rugby Show. That'll be on at 9 o'clock on Thursday for your delectation on TNT Sports 1. Craig on hosting duties and in the company of Austin Healy, Jamie Roberts and John Barkley. Everything you need to know and then some ahead of your weekend's menu of international rugby. So as the floodlights turn on in Gloucester, it's Alex Matthews, Olympian, former Worcester Warrior these days, three-time PWR champion, who allows Mo Hunt the space she needed to clear her lines.
On the edge.
And below us, Saracens prepare to make another two
15,
changes.
Please, substitution.
So McKenna is done, so too is Marley Packer. So joining us, Charlotte Wright-Haley, Gemma Jo Lincolns.
Okay, you guys are on the edge, take a step. Time's back on.
Wright-Haley making her first appearance in the PWR in Saracens colours, joined over the summer. Things are coming apart at the seams here for the Londoners.
Use it now, 9.
It's hard to remember a time when they played this badly. Hurd finding Sheckles, and just look at the 7 Supremo get to work. She's got more than enough pace. Oh, to stop Blacklock, but her pocket's been pinched. Sensational stuff from Corrigan. She made that look effortless. Sellers, Harrison, this now right, Hayley, gets the offload onto Evans. Was that the shot in the arm that this ailing Wolfpack so desperately needed? Perhaps not. Macmillan can't gather. And Gloucester Hartpury have it back.
So the breakdown was in the 22, wasn't it? Yeah.
Again, it's good from Gloucester Hartpury. This is them, just they've seen that edge opportunity on turnover ball. Jade Sheckles, we've not said her name a huge amount today, but she has got some serious power and pace. And how on earth Alicia Corrigan rips that from her just there. It's a brilliant pickpocket. And then Saracens just not able to take advantage of that edge opportunity. Just look like they're getting a bit flat. Inaccuracies in some of the passing.
They lose another one. Zoe Stratford just taking lunch money like a playground bully. Hunt onto George, and look at the options out on that far touchline. Feed the speed in Metcalf.
Backwards off White.
Corrigan yet again with the ball on the counter-attack. Hasn't kicked that the way she wanted, and there are 6, 7 cherry and white jerseys there. Stratford, though, plays things pragmatic, plays things hard. Brilliantly taken by Lewis. Lewis having a little gallop now. Thumps into Gregson. Hunt reloads swiftly, finds Venner. Clung onto by Blacklock. Searching for a 6th score of the afternoon. Montmuir on the rumble. Hunt. Kate Williams, who opened the scoring in the final back in March, the last time these sides met. And Gloucester Hartpury looking to make winning against this side a habit. Williams crawling her way through the white shirts before her. Matthews still going strong. Hurd rises with it, runs through them all, cleaves through the middle. Saracens all out of answers, and Gloucester Hartpury carving them to ribbons.
And then Redbury gathered and scored.
They're just still absolutely all over it, Gloucester Hartpury. Speculative kick from Corrigan. And then that pass from Mohun gets outside the flying Poppy Cleal. Bethan Lewis charges onto it, swerves through the gap, puts her head down. And then from there, Gloucester Hartpury are able to recycle. Another brilliant carry from Maud Muir in there. And then Tatiana, I don't think quite can believe her luck when she picks her head up, and it's just a load of body she's got to try and dive over the top of.
Tatiana Hurd has left us, so Hannah Dalla former Wales captain, is on, wearing 23. So let's talk about that midfield, Emily, because you made the brilliant point pre-match when we were chatting that actually Jade Sheckles has hardly played any 15s rugby. She joined Gloucester Hartpury almost as a training partner, you felt, at the start of last season, and has gone and won a World Cup. But her and Tatiana Hurd, very exciting prospects.
Super exciting. We didn't see a huge amount of Jade Sheckles, obviously, last year in Gloucester Hartpury colours, but we did see her at England. The interesting thing for me is them playing together, because obviously Jade, throughout the World Cup, was that kind of replacement 12 option. But having the ability of both of them, they're so super powerful, really physical in the middle, and it's just how they can link up, and I guess they're almost additional back rowers to what is already a completely stacked team of back rowers in terms of how they will carry. Jade as well, as we saw a little bit over there. Fantastic pace on her.
Play it.
Hannah Dalla in the squad as well. Pip Hendy. Some brilliant athletes. And speaking of, Sophie de Goody with hands on ball for the first time in some time. This right, Hayley.
Penalty advantage.
Gloucester Hartpury conceding 3 penalties in quick
Let's have a look at that, Craig.
succession, but Saracens players are walking out there. They just...
What specifically?
Potential kick in the breakdown.
Huge shot, absolutely enormous there. That a statement from Maud Muir on May Campbell. Look how narrow Saracens are here. Just queuing up for it, the forwards, and
No.
Gloucester happy to just sit back. Although on that occasion, they really did have to slam the door because Sophie de Goody has managed to...
Penalty advantage for an offside.
Saracens with a penalty advantage to flex to within a metre or two. Hurled out, Gregson on now to McDougall.
It's been cleared.
I feel like to say we got there in the end in terms of Saracens completing a set,
There's
really
nothing
lovely
clear on what
hands
you
to
asked
get it
about,
out
Holly.
and
Yeah,
finish
thank
the
you.
job.
I didn't think
Some
so.
serious
We had penalty
physicality
advantage again.
in the middle. Tori Sellers thinks she's seen something Maud Muir
understand
says,
what you're
and you
saying.
absolutely haven't.
You had 2
Brilliant tackle from there. Sophie de Goody just slowly starting to come into the game. A little snipe through the middle, really smart play from her. And then it's an inevitability as long as Saracens can keep a hold of the ball.
Thank you.
Had loads of space over on that far side.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the clock, it's still 10 minutes left, which is surprising me, but 10 minutes is such a long time. Saracens still have something to play for. We saw last season how crucial and critical bonus points are and were in terms of the overall standings and how tight it was at the end. So there's still something certainly for Saracens to aim for here.
I know what you're going to ask about, okay. Okay, we've swept. There's nothing clear and obvious for us, okay. I understand what you're saying, okay, but we've swept everything.
26 points in it. Result seems home and host. But points so essential in this league, and that absolutely no good whatsoever. Erin Bradley is on, wearing 17, a late replacement to Cecilia Tuipulotu, who was a withdrawal during the warm-ups. And she will be straight into this scrum. There she is, wearing 17. Hartpury student. Only made her debut last season against Harlequins, scored in doing so, and she's a convert from the back row about whom they are so excited. She's an absolute athletic freak by all accounts, Erin Bradley.
And this is the exciting bit for Gloucester Hartpury, is how and when do we see them bring through some of the youth and the talent that they obviously clearly have throughout their Hartpury setup and their Bucks programme and their college programme. So obviously we talk about their internationals and their experience, and obviously some of these players who are knocking towards the latter end of their 20s and early 30s, but how can they start introducing some of this young talent through this squad as well?
Penalty advantage.
Immediate impact, penalty advantage, which allows George to attempt to pick out Venner here.
Nothing there. Loose head to ground.
A glimpse at the aerial skills there, though, of Gemma Jo Lincolns.
Yeah, I've seen little bits of her throughout last season and really impressed. She seems incredibly lively, really good runner with the ball. And like you say, certainly didn't shirk that opportunity to get herself in the air.
Just on the edge, please.
Sarries lost 4 all of last season combined, which was their worst ever return in the Premiership. They're going to start with 1 today. And as you said, it doesn't get any easier. Quins, then Bristol, then Tigers, then Trailfinders, who will have found their feet by then with a host of new signings. And just listen to that. Your mate Skazana, a good innings from Natasha Hunt. We'll be watching on as Neve Jones has this at the base. Well, the knock-ons are contagious. So, scrum advantage for Harlequin. Big shot, Venner on Gregson, that felt statement.
Okay, no hands, no hands. Stop, stop, stop.
Still under scrum advantage. That then over.
He's lost his touch, old Matt Bannerhan on the sideline.
Careful, that'll be you soon.
Just listening to the crowd there, obviously, as Mo Hunt came off the field, and many of the other players have. They've built such an amazing following here, haven't they, at Kingsholm? Gloucester is such a rugby town. They love it. You know, whether it's the girls or the women or the men, they just get behind it. And obviously, they have such a successul female team here.
So much put on as well in the build-up to this match.
Please.
There was face painting and hair braiding and events taking place all around Kingsholm, where, in honour of the PWR's new charity, Breast Cancer Now, fans have been challenged to wear it pink. Look at the little ribbons in Emma Singh's hair. As you said, it's a rugby-loving town, and you can see those pink circus jerseys everywhere you look in the stands.
I'm happy with the contest there, Ben.
So Gloucester have now officially
Okay, no
emptied
hands.
their bench, which means that Lizzie Golden, the third member of the Three Musketeers of the ACL Survival Club, is on the field,
Penalty advantage.
wearing number 22, beloved within this setup. Golden, Monaghan and Kelsey Jones, so good to see them fit again. Dalla Valle onto Venner.
Okay, that's forward. Back to the off feet, number 8.
And it's a trailblazing programme in other
Number
ways
8
as well,
off feet.
Scaz, as you know so many of these individuals, you've heard so much about what they do right at the circus. But one thing Dan Murphy brought in over the summer,
It's their penalty.
these girls now have their own team room on site, which makes them the first PWR club to have their own base right next to their training ground. It's their own space, apparently, and Dan Murphy might well regret this. He's given them permission to decorate it themselves, but it's their space where they can relax, where they don't need to feel like guests, where they can be elite athletes and have a home. And if the evidence today is anything to go by, it's those sort of cultural pieces which are working.
It's just another phenomenal tackle by Zoe Stratford in the middle. 75th minute. You're clearly going to win this game, and still no quarter given by her.
On the edge.
We've just mentioned Zoe Stratford there, Scaz. No doubt you've been drawing up a bit of a shortlist for your player of the match for today. Would you care to run us through a couple of your runners and riders?
Yeah, it'll probably be no surprise that they are all from the Gloucester Hartpury pack. I think Maud Muir has been brilliant. One try, her breaks, her physicality throughout the field has been fantastic.
Contact
Alex
Muir.
Matthews is always brilliant around the park. Turnover in the
Contact
first
Muir.
half, just changes momentum. As I said previously, just works incredibly hard, does all the good nuts and bolts. Kelsey Jones, I thought, has had a brilliant game. Her first one back for such a long time, two tries.
It's only on their ball
Made
at the
that
moment.
20-metre, let's call it 30-metre break in the first half. It's been great to see her back. And then, as you mentioned, Zoe Stratford stealing the line out at will. So good around the park, chasing everything. Nothing to her is ever a lost cause, either side of the ball. She's been phenomenal. So yeah, a big tip of the cap to essentially the Gloucester Hartpury pack.
Who, of course, lose the ensuing line out. Here's Liz Craik, newly arrived from Trailfinders over the summer and absolutely loving her time at Saracens. Cindy Gregson's part of the furniture in North London. Lizzie Golden decides that her first involvement, returning from an ACL injury, will be to attempt to tackle the World Player of the Year. Gregson has had some bright involvements in an otherwise sombre day for Saracens. That will grubber from Dagoody ricochets off Neve Jones, right Haley. And there's Stratford chasing down another cause. Poppy Cleo, tackled by Beth Ann Lewis. Harrison onto Blacklock. George falling away and off that tackle. This is nice. McDougall. Stolen. Wales' co-captain, Kate Williams, limp it like.
The thing I love about this Gloucester Hartpury side is that they're not giving up. You know, they have won this game. They clearly have won this game, but they're still competing at everything that they think they can get a little inch at. Kate Williams there, brilliant over the breakdown. Zoe Stratford, sorry, I'm still getting used to that. Still dominating tackles left, right and centre.
Looking to put the cherry and white on the cake here. Neve Jones.
Use it now, you guys are on the floor.
Extraordinary in defence. Now on the front foot. Shackles. Meg Davies. Finding Matthews. Still going. All of these World Cup champions. 29 days on, these Red Roses, from lifting that trophy and straight back into club colours.
No.
Williams, who has been bright since her arrival. There's going to be some selection headaches for Murphy. Penalty advantage, and now they flood around.
Tackle, release.
George just keeping that Saracens defence honest, carrying herself. Davies still with advantage here. Lewis to within 5. Over the ball is Beckett. Davis finding her compatriot in Williams. Davies with the clear out this time. Someone needs to play scrum half, or better yet, Neve Jones will bash back to Saracens. Linkins and a goodie. Knocked down by the Irish hooker. Beckett out and onto Venner, given no room in which to work, even by her standards.
Okay, nothing coming. Got a not rolling here, or an offside midfield.
Seconds remain.
Here or midfield.
And you suspect they'll go for the jugular.
Sorry, here. Okay. 6, not rolling.
Yeah, it's an opportunity now, isn't it, to just absolutely put a marker down in terms of, oh, there we are, we're all wrong.
A statement, a scalp, a little piece of history. The first win of the Dan Murphy era, and a first top-tier win in these parts, men's or women's, since May. It is early days, but it seems as though the circus are going to be all right. The Wolfpack, toothless, error-strewn and bullied, and with a week to get affairs in order before they host Harlequins in a big London derby. We wondered how these sides might emerge, and the answer to that is, in the case of the reigning champions, quite emphatically, Saracens was so much to ponder. Full time at Queenstown, and it is Gloucester Hartpury 40, Saracens 40. Emily, your player of the match.
Yeah, I think it's really tight one in the end. Maud Muir was brilliant, but just didn't probably stay on the field as long as that lady in shot. Zoe Stratford was unbelievable. You think of everything that she's been through in the last 3-4 weeks, from lifting the World Cup trophy as the captain of the Red Roses to putting in a shift like that. She never takes a backward step. She never shirks a physical opportunity. And I think she has led this Gloucester Hartpury side yet again through her actions. She has been brilliant, and she is the PWR player of the match.
An immense performance. One of the great servants of that Gloucester Hartpury jersey and that Red Roses 1-2.